With the ongoing blackouts, we know that Eskom is now juggling between stage 3 and 4, battling to get us to at least lower levels of load shedding. But every day that we are losing power in our economy as well. It's also causing enormous daily frustrations as it impacts traffic and running our lives. Let's speak now to our reporter in Cape Town, Ayesha Ismail, who's been out speaking to a number of people about the options on the table as the President considers what to do about this crisis. Ayesha, thank you so much for joining us. You've been speaking to small businesses, getting a lot of different views, not only on how it's impacting them, but on what they think might be the solution to solve this problem.
Well, Sally, I must say that I tried to speak to as many business people as possible, and many of them did not actually want to appear on camera because they were saying it doesn't really matter what we say, the President will not listen to us. A lot of them were also saying that and questioning why government has not treated load shedding as an emergency. They're also talking about how they suffered during COVID, and while we were going through this COVID pandemic, we again had load shedding. So on the one hand, they had to deal with COVID, and at the same time, they had to deal with load shedding. And I could see the frustration that they were going through, because a lot of them were saying they have friends and family and business partners who had to close shop on the basis of not being able to cope with the COVID regulations, and then of course not being able to cope with the load shedding. But I did manage to get two business people on camera. They are small and medium business people. Let's listen to what Henry Ludsky had to say.
There's certainly no urgency with COVID. They had advisory panels and so forth. With load shedding, there's nothing. Government said, the President has said he's going to make steps. None of these steps will actually mean anything, because solving the load shedding problem requires a much bigger intervention, which should have been done a long time ago. We're now going to be paying they're not going to be able to solve this problem in the short term, and which means that businesses are going to suffer. And like with COVID, businesses will close. The impact of it is people can't afford to pay salaries, because the expectation of staff is they still want to be paid regardless of load shedding. So it's a major impact on small businesses, and clearly government has shown with COVID as well as with this current emergency that they're ineffective. They can't manage this process.
If I were to meet the President today, I'd tell him that he should really uplift the small businesses in a manner of, like I just explained, the generators, and maybe load shedding where we're getting it 4 hours a day is really affecting us. Maybe you can make a change and put it during the night, where we can, I'm sure we can live with, not to say that we can live with 2 hours, but 2 hours is not bad, but 4 hours a day in a small business is killing us.
Yeah, and that's the reality. It's really very, very tough if you're trying to run a small business, especially on a shoestring budget. You, of course, are in the city of Cape Town. They've made a lot of strides to trying to become a little less dependent on the grid. And the Mayor of Cape Town's got some suggestions for the President. What did he tell you?
Well, the Mayor of Cape Town and also the Cape Chamber of Commerce, they agree that the President needs to get rid of what they call the tedious procurement processes. The Mayor of Cape Town was also saying that through these processes we've not seen a major difference. And he's saying that these, again, tedious processes are actually holding the country back. And when I spoke to the Cape Chamber of Commerce as well, they were saying to me that there are private businesses waiting to help. And government should not be doing what private businesses can do more effectively. And they're waiting to be called upon to assist government. But let's listen to what the Mayor of Cape Town had to say.
My advice to President Ramaphosa on the current unprecedented stage 6 power crisis that we've had the last couple of weeks is that we should no longer mess around with cumbersome, unwieldy procurement rounds. We should throw open the doors as wide as possible to the market and say that we need to buy as much energy as the market can provide as quickly as is humanly possible, without going through all of the tedious, extremely slow procurement rounds which have not delivered any new power to speak of to the grid in the last couple of years. That is the most important intervention. Secondly, I really think that municipalities like Cape Town, who are trying our best to reduce our reliance on Eskom and end load shedding over time, should be exempt from all of the permission and registration and ministerial determination requirements that really slow down our efforts, and that places which are well run and financially well run, like Cape Town is, should be allowed to get on with it and to cut the time frame significantly for ending load shedding here at least. And may there be many more.
All right, that's Jordan Hill-Lewis, of course, the Mayor of Cape Town. Thank you so much for bringing us those views. That's eNCA Senior Reporter Ayesha Ismail. Well, let's